Back at Veterans Field for more of the Anglers Extra pregame show. It's time for Catch of the Day. I'm Drew Carter, now joined by Jeremy Pena. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty well, thank you. Jeremy, you're getting your third straight start at shortstop. How you feeling?
I feel good, man. It's good to go out there and play every day.
Now, unfortunately for the A's, 3 straight losses, all of them in pretty tough fashion. What's the mood around the team right now?
I mean, we're not worried about it. You know, we have a pretty good team. I know we're going to bounce back anytime, so we're not worried.
Now, last summer you played in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. Some consider that the second best summer league behind this one. Can you compare the difference between the Cape Cod League and the New England League?
I mean, both leagues are pretty competitive. Both leagues are prestigious. You know, the biggest difference I would say is the pitching. The pitch is a lot better in this league, but both leagues are pretty good.
Speaking of that pitching, tonight Harwich throws out Brian Christian, who actually played on your team last year in the New England League. What can you tell us about him?
I know he's going to come out and compete. He's going to compete and just play hard, you know.
Jeremy, you play shortstop. We've seen a couple of flashy plays from you. Your AAA coach, Franklin Salcido, said you have the smoothest hands of any players he's ever seen. He compared you to Xander Bogaerts. I know you said Jose Reyes earlier on in the season. What are you trying to do out there, I guess? Are you going for style points?
No, man, no. I just try to catch the ball and make the routine play. And if I make a great play, then it's just part of the game. I don't try to go for it.
There's been a lot of shuffling in this Chatham defense so far this year. Jacob Olsen actually getting his first start in the infield. You've been playing shortstop all season long. Could you move around if necessary?
Of course, you got to be able to play wherever coach puts you, you know, because this team is full of infielders and outfielders, and everyone has to adjust to whatever position they put them in. Play a little bit of second base, third base, it doesn't really matter. Wherever I can help the team.
And this season at Maine, you had 226 at-bats, the most of any Chatham Angler. Are you tired at all after the season?
I mean, not really, man. I love the sport, man. This is fun, man. And the more pitching you can get, the better you get at it, you know. So.
You guys made a nice run through the America East tournament. What was that like?
It was good, man. It felt good to see the team click. Our offensive pitching clicked, and it was good to see what we could do, reach our potential, because the whole season we kind of were underachieving, so it felt really good.
One of your teammates from Maine is also on the Chatham A's, Nick Silva. What's he like?
He's a goof. He's a goof, man, but I love that kid, man. Every time he's on the mound, it's like he's a different person. He goes from the clowny, happy kid to a beast on the mound. Just wants to compete and strike everybody out.
I've always been curious about baseball at Maine because it's obviously pretty cold. How do you guys fit in 55 games?
We start our season down south. We play a lot of games down south, probably like half of our season. So then we come back up and play a lot of away games. And then our turf helps because we don't really need to take care of our field. But it's cold, but it's doable.
So you've actually had a pretty interesting journey up to Maine. You were born in the Dominican Republic, right?
I was.
Okay, so can you take us just through that journey from the Dominican Republic to Maine?
I came to the U.S. when I was 9 years old. Then we moved to Providence, Rhode Island. Then I played under Franklin Salcedo, like you mentioned. Then he reached out to Trimper because Salcedo's brother was a catcher for Trimper at Maine. So he kind of had that connection and sent him a video, and Trimper liked me, and he came down, watched a few games, and ended up in Maine.
And Jeremy, at Maine this season, pretty strong year for you. What do you think just worked well for you up at the plate?
I mean, I try to be consistent, try to do a little bit every day, try to help the team as much as I can, try to get on base for the team, and just happened to work out a little bit.
And this summer you're working with Jamie D'Antona, the hitting coach for the Chatham A's. What have you guys been working on specifically?
I mean, just hitting line drives, staying through the ball, not getting too big. And he's had experience with the big leagues. He knows what he's talking about, so I'm pretty excited to work with him.
And your dad, Geronimo, actually played in the big leagues himself. What was that like for you as a kid growing up with a major league father?
Oh, it's pretty cool. He taught me a lot. He was my #1 coach. He always taught me things that I learned later on. He taught me early, so it was pretty cool.
You guys are wearing the red military uniforms tonight. What do you think of those?
I like these uniforms. I like the hats, the camos. These uniforms are pretty sick.
You just got a haircut, didn't you?
I did.
Well, you look good, Jeremy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jeremy Pena starting at shortstop tonight again for the Chatham Anglers. We'll see how he does and how the A's do coming off 3 straight losses. Now we'll go back up to the press box for more Anglers Extra pregame show with Max Hers.